One of the most frustrating things that Christians love to say to people who have left the faith is,
"You never really were a Christian to begin with."
this is just complete gaslighting. It's not a word I like to overuse, but it literally is the definition of gaslighting. I think I find it the most frustrating because it simply isn't true for most people, especially people who are very, very passionate who have left the faith. People like me who feel the need to talk about it. It's because we were in the faith so deeply and we feel frustrated and hurt and angry and have to process through a lot of stuff after leaving the faith because we gave so much of our life, we made so many choices based on this faith. You can get a much deeper dive into that in my kind of deconversion video, but kind of simply, I was very, very passionate about evangelism. I was very passionate about missions. I was very passionate about service. I was very, very passionate about prayer and was deep in the word and was fascinated with apologetics and learning and felt like I had very much a relationship with God. I will say oftentimes, there was some friction. There was times when, I'd like go out into the woods and pray and beg God to just speak to me, and I felt like there was nothing. But I still felt like, okay, at least I'm seeking God, I'm going after God, I'm pursuing God. And so there was that deep passion for God, for Jesus. I definitely didn't make a lot of friends in high school because I was constantly talking about Jesus and preaching and trying, even among Christian people, I wasn't necessarily that popular because I was always trying to get like a Bible study started over lunch, or let's talk about the word, or let's dive deep into this. Like I was very, very passionate about diving deep into Jesus and getting everything that I could, serving Jesus, just like I wanted my whole life to be around this because that's really what I believed. And for people, rather it's somebody in a church you went to, rather it's a family member, rather it's some random person online telling you that you weren't a real Christian, it's maddening because it's not true. And the reason that I believe that they do this, and I can't speak for them, so I would love if you're a Christian and you use this argument, tell me why in the comments do you use this argument, but I believe it's because they don't want to look inward. Because if somebody who is as passionate as I was, or is as passionate as a lot of people were about Christianity, are leaving it because they truly believe it's not true anymore, that's going to open up the door to the Christian having to ask some questions of themselves, having to ask what they believe, is what they believe true? Like they're going to have to do that introspection, and that's tough, that's scary. As a Christian, it's uncomfortable. You don't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. And so I think that that's a big reason, is that they literally don't want to even open up the possibility to themselves that if they delved into the same questions that I delved into, or that they delved into the same questions that a lot of people who have left the faith have delved into, they could come to that same conclusion. They could be wrong. And not only would a lot of Christians lose their whole community if they were wrong. I lost a lot of community when I left the church and the faith. They could lose their idea of eternity, which is much scarier, because absolutely death is scary. I do not like to think about my mortality. It kind of freaks me out. I never have, even as a Christian. Death was a scary thing. Even though I believed, in eternity and stuff, just the process of dying is scary. Thinking about there might be nothing after, or there might be something completely different after than what they believe is kind of freaky. Honestly, it's kind of freaky. I was there. I honestly, kind of not that long after I really accepted that, okay, I'm not a Christian anymore, I had a series of panic attacks because I would think about death, and it freaked me out to the point I'd have a panic attack. And so it's not fun. It's scary to think about. So I actually have a lot of compassion for people who that is their reason for using this argument, rather it's subconscious or conscious, because it is really uncomfortable to think about our mortality if there is nothing after, or even opening up the possibility that there's nothing after, or that what's after could be a completely different thing than what you believed your whole life. And again, I want to be careful not to do what Christians tend to do to us and say that that absolutely is the reason, but I think just from my own experience as a Christian, that absolutely was a reason that I felt like I'm not comfortable, this is scary, they must just not have been a Christian. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear from people who have left the faith. Do you encounter this argument a lot? How do you respond to it? As well as Christians, if you use this argument, why do you use this argument? Really dig deep, let me know. Like, I would love to know, do you genuinely believe it? Is it a deflection? Is it just what you've been taught to say? Let me know, because I think that would just be absolutely fascinating. Have a great day. I will catch all of you very soon.